Oh, that's just what that one.
Hello.
There you are.
How y'all doing? Can you hear me now?
Yay!
Okay, yeah. Well, I
We can hear you. Thank you. Thank you everyone for your patience. Okay, so I will start. Was Maria in?
I didn't see her.
She just told me she's in.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, awesome. So what I'm going to do is just kind of update everyone in terms of the sidewalk maintenance goals. Some people have been sitting through our meetings and this is not new to them, but some people may be new. So I wanted to kind of go back to what our overall goal was and plans. So let me just put this in full screen. Melanie, can you do the full screen?
Are you having a hard time seeing
Yeah,
it?
no, do you want to just put the full screen?
No, because I have my dual screens and I'm on my other screen.
Oh, okay. Okay, no problem. All right. So I wanted to first, obviously, as we were going through this sidewalk maintenance issue, what our overall goals were. First of all, our goals were to eliminate all trip hazards. Your board of directors meeting. Okay, yep, that overlapped that. Our goal was to get rid of any trip hazards a 1/4 inch or higher. We're also looking at, there are some areas where it's cracked and it's starting to lift. It may not be at a 1/4 inch, but given the fact there's a crack and it's already starting to lift, those we want to repair as well. We've been evaluating this for 6 months, and we're at the point where we want to move forward. The 2 maintenance approaches that we have decided to move forward with is first to all the worst slabs, the ones with the tree roots, we're going to remove those, both the slab and the underlining tree roots, and then have new concrete slabs installed. And for all the rest that we have not selected to remove, we're going to remove the trip hazards using a grinding method, and I'll get into what that is. In terms of our ongoing maintenance plans, for all of you who may not be aware of how this is budgeted, currently we have a reserve that has our sidewalks budgeted. As of last year, it was moved to every 3 years. So if you look at the bottom, it says 2019. 9,500 was allocated in 2020, and then 2023 another amount. Prior to that, it was every 5 years. So as you all know, the sidewalk maintenance wasn't done because there was a misunderstanding that it was the responsibility of the homeowners. So we're at the point where we're trying to do catch up, and we're going to take the 2016, 2019 deferred maintenance and get it completed in 2020. We are going to be looking at and considering possibly adding, one of the reserves recommends that you add, HOAs add in their annual operating budget a small amount, so that way in between those reserve years, whether it's 3 or 5, I do like the fact that last year the board changed it to 3. I think based on where we're at, that was a good move. But they also recommend adding a smaller amount, so if anything becomes a risk in between years, you can get those taken care of. So it's something we're going to consider when we start having our budget workshops later this year. And the next reserve, right now we do reserve studies every 2 years. So then we did one in 2013, 2015, 2017, 2019, and the next one is scheduled for 2021.
Okay.
So for the removal of the slabs and roots and the installation of the new concrete slabs, we have selected the vendor we'd like to move forward with is called LRE Ground Services. They are a very reputable firm. They are licensed and insured. And we had looked at several other vendors. We felt this vendor was offered the most superior quality for the price. They weren't the cheapest and they weren't the highest priced either. We did look into the references. The references they gave were from HOA management companies, so these were big firms that vets these people. So they went through a high vetting process with these other HOA companies. And this particular vendor got really excellent feedback. One of the things that the HOA said, we put together a list, Susan and I, a list of questions we asked both of the vendors, so they're the same questions to every person we spoke to. And one of the big things that we liked that we heard about LRE is that they exceeded their expectations with regards to how clean they kept the project, and as they moved through it, that they put the forms down well, that they had no nasty overflows or clumps of concrete left on the edges or outside of the forms on the grass. And one vendor in particular said they had tried other vendors before. Some of them were smaller, and they saw some of, what the difference is between a quality installation and a not so quality. And another person said that they have an on-site supervisor during the whole project, and the communication was very open and ongoing. And another person said that they had a really nice broom clean finish. They broom cleaned them nicely, and the finish was excellent, and the sidewalks had very good edges. In terms of the grinding company, the firm that we've selected is Superior Sidewalk Services, and they are going to be grinding trip hazards that are raised a 1/4 inch or more that won't be removed and replaced by LRE. They also are a reputable company. They are licensed and insured. There was another vendor that we were looking at as well. We felt that they were comparable with quality and price. And one of the other things is that they've worked with LRE before, and they seem to have a really good relationship. And we liked that. They also had good references. They said they were good communication, easy to work with, and that they cleaned up during the project. The other thing they talked about was, because it's a lot of dust can be created, that they have a vacuum that is attached to the system, and that they captured a lot of the dust. Let's see. The machines that they're going to be using, the slide will come up, are, he calls them a Air Tech ES 2000 and a RT 2500 scaffers, and they hook those up to a vacuum to remediate the dust. And then they use a hand grinder or a smoothing drum, which is also hooked to the vacuum, which provides a nice smooth and even finish to the concrete surface. And they also have their own generator for power. And the picture on the right, the top part, you can see where it was shaved. Now, I've seen some that have grinded and they've not looked so nice. What I like about this company is they do take that extra effort to make them smooth and look nice. So for the schedule of work, we're going to do the grinding first. The estimated time for completion is anywhere between 3 and 5 days. LRE will then come in after them and remove the sidewalks, and the estimated time for completion is 5 to 8 days with them. The reason why we're doing the grinding first is because if something happens and one of them breaks or something, then we can go ahead and remove it. So it was recommended that we do the grinding first and then have Ellery come in and do the replacement.
Rochelle. Bring it down. They can hear this.
Okay, so we, whoops, it's moving, Melanie.
Which one are you on? Are you on the schedule of work or are we
10.
on the top vendors?
10.
Top
Yeah,
vendor.
okay. I was waiting for you. There you go.
Oh, okay, thanks. So to recap, we would like to move forward with using Ellery Ground Services to remove the slabs and roots and install new concrete slabs. The price that we have for $38,000 is based on removing 121 slabs. The average slab size is 4 to 5 feet, and the average price is $15 per square feet. There's also, the price includes a $1,100 mobilization charge. So we have not begun to negotiate with them, and that's the next steps we want to do, is to negotiate, the price, the terms, and then get it scheduled. And to recap for Superior, we want them to grind the rest of the trip hazards with slabs raised 1/4 inch or more that won't be removed and replaced by LRE. There's approximately 154 trip hazards that will be shaved. The price is not to exceed $8,000. Again, the next steps will be to finalize the price terms and schedule the service. So at this point, Melanie, did you want to do slide 11 before we make any motions?
Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you. Gonna roll into the sidewalk maintenance options. We have 2 options, and there may be, as we're going through negotiations, like Sandy let you know, we have just barely started with our negotiations. But option 1 gives us a grand total of $44,500. It's the option that Sandy just presented to you, where LRE's current bid to remove and replace 121 sidewalk slabs is $36,300 to remove and replace 121 plus a $1,100 mobilization. The grinding by Superior Sidewalk Solutions bid is roughly $6,700, $6,350 for grinding, and then $350 to seal and fill the cracks. Second option, option 2, you'll see is drastically lower, with a grand total of $26,570. Approximately 70 sidewalk slabs to be removed and replaced, which is $16,470. And an increase from the 67 grinding. The grinding would go from 6,300 up to 8,650. Still 350 to seal and fill the cracks. Both options, the benefit of both options will resolve the sidewalk trip hazards throughout our community, all at what Sandy mentioned earlier, 1/4 inch and higher. Superior sidewalks will also grind any that are feeling like they definitely need to be ground. That may be just under 1/4 inch. They'll do those grindings for free. They've also, we're also working with them that they'll come back within 12 months and grind anything else if it starts to lift within the 12 months. So again, the benefits of both options, we will be removing and resolving our sidewalk trip hazards. Option 2, there's a savings of nearly 42% and keeps us within the sidewalk maintenance approved budget of 2019 and 2020. The budget with both for 2019 and 2020 is $28K. Before we open it up to open discussion, we'll be doing the open discussion before the board votes to move forward with these vendors. A couple of things that we need to take into consideration, that the board does need to take into consideration, is we are still reviewing the terms and conditions and have some revisions for LRE. I don't know if we have any with these carrier sidewalks. Theirs was pretty big. I'm not sure if we're going to be making any changes to theirs. However, selecting these two vendors in the event that the terms and conditions aren't approved, we still have to complete it through the board membership. Then we need to present it to our attorney to review, send it off to the vendor to review, approve, and update accordingly. And then the contracts will be ready for the board to approve, to review, approve, and sign. So there's still some work that needs to be done before we finalize the contracts, but we're getting very, very close. Once we get the contract and we're ready to move forward, we will schedule another board meeting and present the final contract to the membership before signing. We definitely want to make sure that the membership understands and approves of the expenditures what we're going to be spending. One last thing, Sandy, that I do have a question on is the slide with the approved budget.
Yeah.
Back on this one, do the reserves, do they line up with all our approved budgets?
These numbers come from I took them from the reserve study. The reserve studies.
Did you check to see are all our approved budgets, if they line up? Because here's the glaring one that I had, and I definitely don't want to steer off. But the 2019, we don't have in 2019, or the 2018, the year 2018, so for 2019, we don't have the 17,000 that we have in the approved 2019 budget.
Yeah, these came from the reserve study, Melanie.
Okay, all right. And then the other thing with the reserves, you said did they recommend a smaller amount on an annual basis? What reserve is that from?
The first one.
2013?
I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, if you could just get that for us, as we reconvene within the board, that would be great. So those are the two things that I just wanted to ask about the reserve study.
Yeah, I'll bring it to the, when we have a working budget meeting, I'll bring that for the folks that are involved in that.
Wonderful, appreciate that, appreciate it. All right,
So
now
Melanie,
we're gonna get, yes.
Melanie, could you do two things for me? Please ask the people who aren't speaking to mute their computers and their phones, because there's a lot of back talk we're hearing, and I think some people are having trouble hearing you.
Okay, okay. Would everybody who's not talking right now, would you please mute your phone? Would you, I could mute everybody. Would everybody
do it themselves? It might be better.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping. Everybody would mute. And then now that we're going to get ready to do the open discussion, I'm going to say, let's just open it up for open discussion, and one person at a time, please.
Hi, Melanie. Aaron, I just have a question because I think we're missing something in the numbers here. So option one is taking out 121 slab for a total cost of $37,800. If we reduce it by 51 slabs, it takes it down $20,000. That math per slab doesn't work out anywhere near correct.
Erin, this is Sandy. So this is the first time I've seen this slide with an option 2, but it looks like the math was done wrong. The average price is $300 per slab. So 300 times 70 would be 21,000 plus the 1,100 for mobilization and the rest. The total for that option would be 31,100. But again, this is the first time I've seen this.
So it looks like both of them would exceed.
Sandy, and both of you, and I apologize for interrupting. I apologize. I've already started negotiating. I've already started the negotiating. And so that 16,470 is what LRE has given back for replacing the 70 worst slabs that we have. And so it's going to be at a lower cost. So that's where the math is.
Okay, so I'm sure he would negotiate if we replace 121 as well, correct?
Yes, I'm working on that as well.
But that's not reflected here, correct?
No.
Right.
No,
Okay.
but it's gonna be working. It's being worked on.
Well, I don't think we should present this as the true price then, if it's going to actually reduce at the 121. This is Susan, sorry.
I apologize for that. I will go ahead and crunch some numbers real quick. I thought I had made the adjustments on both of them. I apologize to the board. I apologize to the membership for presenting negotiations that have already started, because we're not finished with the negotiations yet. So that was pretty premature. So you know what? So let's just say option 2 would be 21. If we go apples for apples, it'll be 21,000, 22,000. So roughly 30,000. There's still going to be a $15,000 savings, option 1 to option 2. Know that we are working on negotiating the most competitive price for replacing, as well as making sure that we get the highest quality for our dollar.
Melanie, this is Susan again. The point of tonight's meeting was actually to go ahead and vote on the 2 vendors. I don't think we're really in a position to be talking about the negotiations, because we don't have the final numbers or the final terms and conditions. So I think we should stick with our agenda, which is to decide on the vendors so that we can go forth with the negotiations and get this project underway.
I would agree with that, Susan.
Now, I think that we need to move forward with what we have.
But what do you have?
We have 2 vendors that.
Excuse me. As you're talking, would you please announce who's speaking, and then absolutely go ahead and make your comments. Thank you.
Well, Melanie.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to tell her if this was Marcella speaking, and I was the one said that we need to move forward with this.
And this is Sandy, and I concurred with what Susan said, and Marcellus.
This is Jackie here. My question is, how can you move forward on anything if you don't have final numbers? You need to have final numbers to make a decision.
No,
This is Kathy, and I agree we need the final numbers before we move forward with any decision.
This is Susan. Excuse me. This is Susan. We are deciding on which vendors to get numbers from tonight. We've had 5 bids. We've looked at the 5 vendors. We've decided, or we would like to make the vote tonight, to look into the
They
Kathy.
sign something and they could change everything.
Kathy, this is Susan. We're not signing contracts, we're negotiating the contract. So we have decided on a vendor we would like to decide on a vendor to negotiate with.
You need 3 bids, or at least 2 bids that are apples to even make an informed decision.
Right, and we've had 5 that were
No, but
apples
they're
to
not apples to apples if you're now negotiating with only one vendor.
The decision, we need to make a decision on what vendors. We have looked at all of the vendors and they have given us estimates. One was extremely high, we didn't even consider them, and one doesn't really do what we need done. They were willing to try to do it, but they don't really do what we need done. So we moved on to the
Is
2.
Vanguard involved in any of this? Because
No.
Terry should be involved in all of this. That's his job.
No.
Why?
I have a question. Can you bring up the slide number 11, please? This is Mabel at 5326. Okay, thank you. I just want to look at the numbers again. So the
That's the real
decision here is between option 1 and option 2. Is that what we're looking at right now and trying to decide which vendor?
But remember, those are not the real numbers, and this is only one vendor. There are the 2 vendors here that are shown.
What's the other vendor?
No, there are 2. One is LRE and one is Superior Sidewalk.
And they're doing 2 different things, correct?
Yes.
Well, this is Aaron, and this is just a curiosity question because I did miss the last meeting. Were the other bids presented to the board and to the membership base?
That changes.
The board has seen the other bids, yes.
Has the lawyer or Vanguard seen anything yet?
No, they have not. No.
Before we sign anything, the lawyer will be seeing it, but we want to move forward with the next steps, which is the negotiations and of the price and the terms, and then we will have the attorney look at everything before we sign it.
Well, and and to a lot of the membership point, because we haven't even shared the terms of conditions and the contracts with the attorney and gotten the attorney's feedback, Vanguard's feedback, sent the revisions to the vendors and then received the vendors' updated bids with contracts back. These 2 vendors, we really don't know, and we have to be absolutely 100% open and honest with our membership. We don't know if things will fall apart because we are having this board meeting without initially going through the necessary steps. We met on the 11th of March and were to discuss the terms and conditions, and they were to be presented to our attorneys this week. However, the board has not moved forward with it, and so we really could. This could really all just fall apart.
It's very normal, Melanie. Melanie, it's very normal. The procedure we're doing is very appropriate. We have finalized our decision. The board has finalized our decision. we want to move forward with the next steps, which is finalizing the price and the terms, getting it scheduled. Before we sign anything, we are going to have our attorney look at it. But you have to do the negotiation process first.
So why isn't the board making a motion to vote on that next step?
We are planning on making a motion.
Melanie, do you want to ask if there's any further discussion?
Melanie, I have a question. This is Mabel at.
Yes, go ahead, Mabel.
So I'm looking at the both options on option number 1, 37,800. So 36,300, remove and replace 121 slabs. You average that out, it comes out to $312, which is a fair price. And then you go to option number 2, 22,100, and you're replacing 70 slabs. So I think option number 1, you get more for your money because you're getting it discounted by $2, but when you're doing it for 121 slabs, that's my opinion. I support the ideas, both options.
And you know what, Mabel? I just did the math just real quick, and the 2211. I believe it should all equal. It should equal to 300 per slab plus the $1,100 mobilization. Because the 1,100 is going to be mobilization regardless how many slabs we remove and replace.
So I agree with fixing and finding a remedy for this issue. And is that the final solution? Just, fixing the slabs and removing the cause of these sidewalk problems?
Yes, we are going to be moving forward with maintaining the sidewalks. And we want to do it as soon as possible. And that's why we want to make a motion tonight to move forward.
I agree. I vote for move forward.
Okay.
Mabel Rodriguez at 5326.
Thank you.
Sandy, this is Marcellus. I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with the vendors today so we can go to the next step.
Can I ask a quick question before you all vote on that?
Sure.
Okay, this is Jackie. You have a total under option 1 of 44,500 total cost, right?
Yep.
But the two numbers in the budget only add up to $35,700 or $377. So where's the difference of $9,000 coming from?
There is prior monies that have not been used in the sidewalks, but for either way, when you have a situation like us where we're potentially getting sued, and we want to do it the right way, Jackie, and you agree with that, right? So we're gonna have to take it, and then when we redo the reserve, we're just gonna have to adjust the numbers, just like we did for the pepper trees, and we've done it for other things.
I understand. I was just asking if there was where the money was coming from. That's all.
Yeah, it's coming from our reserve, and then we'll have to.
Can you all tell me why we have no financials for January on the website?
No what?
The last financials posted on the Vanguard website are for January.
Say that again? No what? Could people mute?
Financials posted on our website are from the end of January. February's and March's are not up.
I don't know. It's a good question. I'll ask. We can ask Terry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question too. And then slide, can you go back to the slide, the 11? So option 1 is talking
Hold on,
about
wait. Would you please announce your name and then speak, please? Thank you.
Oh, my name is Maria, first grade. So option 1 is talking to replace 121 slabs and then grind the rest. Option 2, the difference between option 2 on the grinding is very small. Why, if we're not gonna replace, what is it, 51 additional slabs, wouldn't that solution for the grinding go up significant because you have now 51 slabs that need to be grinded? Why is the price not significant changing?
So grinding costs less than the removal and replacement. And
I understand that, but how many? It's a big chunk, like you have 51 additional slabs that you need to grind, and it's only changing by $2,300.
Well, and here's the difference. In the 121 slabs that are being removed and replaced, they may just be lifted 1/4 of an inch. They may be less than 1/2 inch lifted.
It's still.
And wait,
I just heard the comment that.
Well, let me finish. So the 51 difference, the 70 is removing and replacing all of the worst sidewalks that are right at about 1 inch and higher, lifted higher, and just are the grossest trip hazards. However, the 51, and including all the other ones that are in the 6350, they may just be 1/4 of an inch. They may be a little higher than 1/4 of an inch, but they're not near they're not even 3/4 of an inch. And that's where the difference is. Grinding, they charge per the severity. There's 3 different severities. There's least severe, severe, and most severe. And we're going to be the most severe, and the ones that they initially identified that the Superior Sidewalk Solutions identified that needed to be replaced. The replaced and the most severe and some of the severe are going to be removed and replaced. This one is going back to anything less than 1/2 of an inch and lower to be grinded.
Okay, but so I heard the board
some
members.
Some of them that are just barely lifted.
I get it, I get it.
Again,
but I just want to know, is this number correct? And have everybody seen that quote to do all of the ones? Because I seen somebody mentioned from the board that they were blindsided by this slide.
Yes.
So I don't think that the team.
Maria, this is Sandy.
Yeah.
And we're prepared to move forward with option 1. Marcellus made a motion. I'd like to just extend that a little bit to clear up what we're making a motion for. We want to make a motion tonight that we accept these 2 vendors, LRE and Superior, and that we're going to move forward with contract negotiations, contract signing, and scheduling with a not to exceed amount. So for LRE, we're making a motion to not exceed $38,000 for the slab and root removals and new slab installation. We're going to make a motion to not exceed $8,000 with Superior to remove the rest of the trip hazards above 1/4 of an inch that LRE won't be removing. So in the end of the day, we're still going to be negotiating. So that's why we're making this motion with the not to exceed amounts. Obviously, we're going to try to reduce it a little if we can. So all in favor, please say aye.
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 Wait. Before we go forward, we're not finished with the open discussion. Is there anybody else that wants to talk? Because then we'll go to the vendor vote. The board of directors vendor vote will be next. But is there anybody else that has a question on the open discussion? If the membership is good then the board will take it back and we'll move forward with the vote. I apologize for changing it, but if there's anyone else in the membership that does want to speak up, please by all means.
Hey, Melanie, this is Brad Barnhill. Hey, did we look at any companies that will raise the slabs?
Sandy, do you want to take that one or do you want me to take it?
Yeah, I can take it.
Okay, thank you.
LRE does do raising of slabs. In fact, they're professionals at that because they deal with foundations. So they do a lot of the raising on foundations. For the amount, and we've done that on a smaller amount before, but the number of issues, trip hazards we have is quite extensive. And he said that, you know, with the sidewalks being so small, it's really hard to get it perfect and there's no guarantee. And his recommendation was to, you know, to remove the worst ones, that was the best course of action. And we also were looking at the shaving and grinding options, and in the end of the day, these are the two options. While there's a number of different options you can go, these are the ones that the board has decided that we want to move forward with.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, hi, how are you? My name is Alex. I'm at 5326. I'm a new moved into the neighborhood recently. I have a question. Is this, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but is this a Band-Aid that we're gonna be doing that might come back within 5 years, 3 years, 6 years? Because we have to find out what is causing that problem that is cracking the sidewalks. Whatever's causing that is, I think that should be taken care of first before you fix something. I feel it's like it's only a Band-Aid you're putting at the moment until you fix the original problem that's causing that. That's my opinion. I think we should find what's the cause that's causing that.
We as a board have voted not to proceed at looking at trees at this point. That's a huge project. Right now, due to liability issues, we need to move forward with resolving the sidewalks, and we've made the decision to move forward.
I'm not asking about anything. I just want to know regarding if that's the remedy at the moment, because if you do something that is going to cost $30,000 today, 4 years, 5 years down the line, you're going to have to do similar job to repair that issue. So I don't know if that's, and there's an underlying problem with the trees or the sidewalk itself. And I believe nobody's going to give us a guarantee that the concrete's not going to crack in 3-4 years.
No, with concrete, there's an ongoing maintenance plan. That's why we have it every 3 and 5 years. We've always had that in our reserve. The reason why we have so much right now is because we haven't done that. That maintenance is deferred. But yes, with sidewalks, there's always going to be ongoing maintenance, and we do have that in our reserve to take care of.
Alex, the other, this is Susan. The other issue is that part of the reason for so many being removed and replaced is that they will also cut the roots that go under the sidewalks. Now, that doesn't say they don't come back again eventually, but we will be removing the ones that are actually causing the problems right now. And that's another reason to look at doing more remove and replace and fewer grindings.
So I like to say something. So if the problem that caused the concrete to lift and you're addressing it now, fixing it, and then not taking care of the root of the problem, do you think that it's feasible to spend this kind of money now and not fix the root of the problem, because you may run into this problem again, maybe in 4 years, 5 years?
So the root of the problem is not the roots of the tree. The root of the problem is the lack of maintenance. Most neighborhoods have oaks that are maintained. In Apollo Beach Boulevard, they're just cutting roots right now. If you can go and see for yourself, the sidewalk haven't been maintained for the last 16 years.
So I have.
Neither have the trees.
Okay.
Neither have the trees. So this is time to do that.
Okay, so I am a homeowner of tree.
Does the board have the money to maintain the trees?
So I just want to share a problem with oak trees that I have faced. I just removed 8 oak trees, and just 2 of them cost me about $7,000 in total with the grinding. So not in this house, in another house. And oak trees do cause a problem, and their roots do grow substantially, and they go into underneath the house and they go into your plumbing system. So if the roots are going underneath the sidewalk, and it has nothing to do with maintenance with the trees, because you can trim the trees and make them look pretty on the outside, but underneath the ground, if those roots are growing, they grow in different directions. So today they're going underneath the concrete towards the sidewalk. But in a couple of years, when they start going underneath your house and the foundation, and they get into your plumbing system, which we've had that problem, you're talking about a lot of money. And I recommend, if you can get to the root of the problem that's caused the lifting of these slabs, then you won't run into these problems anymore. So I don't know. I think that finding the remedy to the cause of the problem is a solution in the long term, not short term.
Most of the people in the community agree that these trees need to be removed.
Oh, I don't think that's true.
Oh, that is not true.
That is not true.
Well, tonight, yeah, and in the end of the day, we have to move forward with replacing these sidewalks. And that's what tonight is about, is to make a motion, and we've made a motion. I made a motion. I don't know if anyone wants to second it, but.
So Sandy, we'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to say all of the points that the membership, that all of the members have brought up, we will put in our board consideration. The board has not voted. We as the board have not voted, so that's something that I do need to correct. We have not voted not to move forward with what's causing what is the root of the problem, which is the oak street trees. We have not voted not to move forward with it. We voted during a planning meeting on February 8th that we would reprioritize and focus on the sidewalks. We're focusing on the sidewalks. However, we also agreed that we would research a landscaping architect to help us with a design for the street trees, and we will be doing that sometime this year as well. That's what the board agreed to. If we want to revote and reprioritize, we can do that on another meeting, but I would like to say, let's just move back into what the goal for this meeting was to vote on the vendors, at least selecting the vendors. And if the membership, if you have anything else you'd like to send us, definitely post it here in a meeting, send a chat, and we'll put it for board consideration. And we'll ask, is there anyone else who wants to make a comment or say anything regarding what's on the agenda, with the vendors? If not, the board will take it over and we'll move on to the vendor vote.
Melanie?
Are the members good? Yes. Yes, who's speaking?
Yeah, how come you weren't allowing us to record this meeting? By law, we can.
Say that again.
Who's asking?
And Jackie.
Hi, Jackie. What's the question?
I put in a request to record this meeting, and
you've got some background. I'm not
meetings.
hearing your question.
I can't hear her.
What, Melanie?
I did not hear the question.
At the beginning of the meeting, I clicked record, and it said you would have to let me record it, and it never got answered. So why are we not allowed to record the meeting?
Oh, I didn't see that you asked to record it. I am recording it as a member, not as a board member. I apologize. I will definitely make sure that you receive a copy. If anybody else wants a copy of the recording, we'll make sure it's available as well. Every member has the right to record a board meeting.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so I will definitely make sure you have a copy of this. And again, anybody else, just let us know as well.
One, too.
You know what? Send just post in here And if you don't have any other questions regarding the agenda, going once, going twice. Okay, now we're ready for the Board of Directors vendor vote. You may proceed, Sandy.
Okay, so I'm going to reiterate the motion. Excuse me. I move to make a motion that we accept these two vendors, LRE and Superior, and we move forward with contract negotiations, contract signing, and scheduling with a not to exceed amount of $38,000 with LRE, who will be doing the slab and root removals and installing the new slabs, and a not to exceed $8,000 with Superior to who will be removing the rest of the trip hazards above a 1/4 inch that LRE won't be removing and replacing. Does anyone second this?
I second.
I'll second
Marcellus.
it. Oh, go ahead, Marcellus. Yeah,
I
go ahead.
second the motion.
Okay, all and those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Those who
Aye.
oppose?
Aye.
Are there any who oppose of the board members?
So the ayes have it. The motion passes, and we're going to be moving forward with the next steps with LRE and Superior.
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All
Thank
in
you,
favor,
everyone,
say
for
aye.
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 Any opposed? Excellent. Thank you, everyone, for attending. We appreciate it. Stay tuned. We'll be scheduling the next board meeting after as we have these contracts ready and finalized contracts and ready to sign. Thank you for your time and have a great evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care. All right, how do I get out of this?